Good afternoon from Berlin, Germany. It is time for my quarterly income for Q3 of 2020, and it all starts right now. Let's go. And welcome back to the channel for all the subscribers and the members. It is awesome to see you here. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Of course, I'm looking forward to seeing your name in the comments below. Now, this is a semi-controversial quarterly segment where I break down exactly how much money I make as a travel photographer and videographer. And I'll give you a bit of a spoiler for Q3 2020. Once again, it wasn't very much. However, it's enough to survive and to keep this train rolling. And I want to share with you exactly how much I made. So let's get started with July of 2020. July 2020, we are in the midst of the summer here in Europe, and the COVID pandemic is ravishing internationally, and all these industries and businesses are really feeling the hurt. And I know you've heard tons of news about that over the last few months, so I'm not going to dig into that, but obviously the travel industry took a big hit and my business got absolutely shattered, really. I go over that a little bit in the last my quarterly income segment from 3 months ago, but I'm not going to dig too much into the details of that. I want to get into how much money I actually made in the last 3 months and where those sources of income are coming from. So in July, I made 3 sources of income. I got 3 payouts, and all 3 of them are not reliant on my work in person, like either on the adventure photography tours with Brendan or with client work here in Europe. So the first one was through Teachable, which is an online course platform where I'm hosting the introduction to YouTube for video creators. So we've got over 125 people signed up already, and I get a sort of reoccurrent payout from them depending on how many new signups happen every month. So if you're one of the people that signed up and is enrolled in the course, thank you very much. That helps big time for my income, as you'll see in this video. But I know that there's a lot of you watching this that are signed up, so comment below, because the more personal testimonials we get, the better. It's a great course. It's very short and detailed and straight to the point. It's only 29 bucks, but I'm not going to sell it too hard here, but you should definitely check it out. Link in the description. The second income source was through DG World Stock, which is a partnership that I've got with a buddy of mine from Alberta, Canada. His name is David Copythorne. He works as a professional cinematographer and DOP on different projects, and him and I have partnered up together to sell stock footage. It's all stock video footage, and it's doing okay. This was the first payout that we got. It wasn't very much, but it was nice to see a bit of a turnaround for all the work that we put into it at the beginning of this year. So that's cool. I hope that that keeps going. And then the third one was YouTube. So that's big thanks to you for watching these videos. YouTube AdSense is not very much, as I'm sure you know. The amount of work that we put into it and the amounts that we get back is like, the balance is way off, but doesn't matter. I don't really think of this channel as like a way to make money, but when it does, it's kind of like a nice surprise. You're like, oh yeah, okay, cool. So these views do mean something, and you watching the video does give me a bit of financial support, funny enough, at the end of the day. Again, it's not a lot at all, but it is something. So big thanks to you for that. And let's jump into August 2020. This is going to be a very short my quarterly income. You're going to see a reoccurring trend in this one. So in August, I only had 2 sources of income. First one was from Teachable, once again, so big thanks to those who are enrolled. And the second one was from YouTube, which is thanks to you. So that's it for August. I mean, it's not, again, it's like almost nothing. No client work, absolutely nothing. We were locked down in North Germany, and that's fine. You know, I think it's time to reflect and work on other projects, and still nice to see at least those 2 sources of income come through. It's a bit of passive income, even though I don't really consider passive income as passive, because you have to put work into something to be able to make money out of it. Whether you put the work in one stage and then it makes money over time or whatever, you know, you always have to do something to get something in return. So I'm trying to build my business in a way that, you know, doesn't rely solely on the photo adventure workshops or on client work. That would be nice, but at the same time, I still have to be taking the pictures and making the videos to be able to make money. So that is the service that I provide, and that's what I love doing. So I want to kind of grow my business around that and see if I can branch out in other ways. And this was a good example in August of me not having any client work or any of the workshops or adventure photography tours, and I was still able to make a little bit of money. So that's cool, but it wasn't very much. So I just have to work on growing that. Let's jump into September. September was definitely a bit better and saved the quarter for me for sure. Septiembre in Alemania thankfully saved my quarter big time. So I think as the summer kind of started to roll out and end, people were getting restless. They wanted to move again. Business needed to kind of begin once again, especially in travel and tourism. People were looking for ways to help rebuild travel and inspire those to get out there and follow safety precautions and like build confidence and comfort to be able to explore. And whether that was domestic or internationally, if borders were open, there were people that were trying to inspire that. So luckily for me, I've got a very good contact with an adventure tour company that I used to work for called G Adventures, which is based in Toronto, Canada. And I've been in touch with their production team, their in-house production team for years. And I know a few of them really quite well. They're friends. And they had this campaign to help rebuild travel and wanted to get a photographer and a video creator on one of the tours that was going to start up again. So they reached out to me. Of course, I said yes. I don't have any work, and it's a company that I trust and believe in. So I said, sure, sign me up. When do we go? So luckily for me, it was a trekking tour in Chamonix, France, and I'm pretty certain that you've seen those videos. I made 2 vlogs of kind of the behind the scenes of getting back to work, and that's how that job came about. So that was a really fantastic tour. Like, we had so much fun. The group was great. We were following all the safety measures that we needed to. We had great weather, and we were just able to have a really good experience. So that was cool, and I got paid pretty well for that. So I'm happy about that. When I finished the assignment, the same contact in Toronto reached out to me and said, hey, Greg, can you cut a couple of your videos together so that we can use them for our own purposes? And I was like, yeah, of course. And then he said, and we'll pay you extra. And I went, all right. If you don't know by now, I'm not really the best businessman or like pricing or anything, but that was awesome. They offered to pay me a bit more for more additional work. So I said yes and got an additional amount in September through that. So that was really cool. The third form of income, I guess, in September was through YouTube. Once again, thank you to you guys. And then the third one was through Tourismus Zukunft, which is the future of tourism. It's a group of consultants that work within Germany, Switzerland, and Austria. I also made a video about that experience working with them called A Day in the Life of a Professional Photographer. And they hire me at least once a year to kind of capture their group experience when they come together to brainstorm new topics and new ideas that they can share with their clients. So that is a really great job and a great client of mine. And I've been working with them for a few years. Building that business and relationship between us has been really beneficial for me. So they kind of saved my quarter as well. I mean, between Tourismus Zukunft and G Adventures, the payment for those 2 jobs made up like 90% of how much I'm going to show you right now, of how much money I made in quarter number 3. So, that's the reality of it. We don't make a lot of money in this profession, especially not in travel and tourism, but I got in it for the freedom, I got in it for travel, and I got it in it to create and to share these videos with you as part of that. So yeah, let's jump in to what you may have all been waiting for. How much money did I make in total in quarter 3 of 2020? We moved inside because it is getting cold in the big city, and this is the temporary new studio that Nelly and I moved into here. We're in the Hauptstadt in Berlin for the next 2 months, and I go into a bit more detail about that in the member exclusive video, which dropped 2 days ago, so be sure to check that out. Now, the time you've all been waiting for. How much money did I make in Q3 of 2020? Drum roll, please. 6,837 euros, which is not bad. I think it's more than I made in the last quarter. I can't remember exactly how much I made in Q2, but I think it's a little bit more than last quarter, which is nice. Very unexpected, and really it was those last 2 jobs in September that definitely saved my quarter. It would have been a hell of a lot less than that if those 2 clients didn't come through. So very thankful for that. Now, a bit of a twist and a bit of a surprise for my quarterly income. I've never really talked about the expenses, and I got a lot of comments in the last version of this series asking how much did I spend. So I thought I would add up all of my expenses from like transportation, communication, daily expenses, accommodation, etc., for both personal and for business, and see how much I spent in quarter 3. And I was surprised, and not in a good way. I spent 6,244 euros and 82 cents in Q3. Like, what was I thinking? How did I spend that much money?
By the way, you still owe me money, right? Can we deal with that soon? Are you in the middle of something, or?
Yeah, we can deal with that at another time. 6,200 is a lot, and I'm almost certain that I did not spend that much money in quarter 1 or quarter 2. for expenses. And I did briefly kind of look at it because I was surprised. And a lot of my insurance payments came out for both my equipment and for my health insurance, as well as I purchased this microphone. And during lockdown, I went a bit crazy on Amazon and got a whole bunch of things that I thought I needed. So I've got a lot of new gear purchases, and like it just adds up, right? There are a lot of expenses for rent and for Airbnb and for a bit of travel when I did that mini collaboration with Mike Corey. So it definitely added up in Q3 to be a lot more than I thought. And the difference between 6,008 and 6,002 is what? $600. So in 3 months, I maybe made 600 euros, which is just hilarious. But I need to get better at managing my expenses for sure. And normally they're much lower than that. So I'm a little surprised, but at the end of the day, I still came out on top, I guess. But that is my quarterly income for Q3 of 2020. Maybe you can compare that to how much money you make per month or per quarter and how much you spend. So my business has the potential to make a lot more, and it has in the past. So I'm still kind of going to go forward with the vision that I have for Snell Media and for my own photography and videography, and hopefully, if travel starts to rebuild itself, we'll be able to run more adventure photography workshops in 2021 and do even more with videography and other online courses as well. So I am working on a few different projects, and I still have some client work lined up for the rest of the year, which is great. So that's it. That is the end of the video. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you want to become a member, you can join just below the video. And if you want to sign up to the introduction for YouTube for video creators, you can also do that in the description below. So I will see you on the next video.